Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for Oscar for joining me at short notice. I've observed a lot of stuff in Sub 2 and the community where people are asking for private money to fund their deals. And obviously, hard earned income is something that people are very protective of, and understandably so. And some people have got quite a substantial amount to lend. They're not necessarily going to let people know how much, at least at the beginning or ever, but some people are just lending a small amount of money as gators where it's much more significant to them. So I just wanted to kind of go through, spend a few minutes with other lenders that have come forward as gator lenders or have experience with private money lending, to really go through the process of what might be not necessarily expected but appreciated from a lender when it comes to borrowing money and being asked to lend money. We're a great community. We're very close, but there are still some very key relationships to be built before really going and canvassing people for money. There are a lot of SEC rules about canvassing for money in certain situations, and I'd advise you to be very, very careful how you go about it. But it's not necessarily a signed agreement that coming into Sub 2 that you agree to have people ask you for money to invest in a property into a business transaction. But just be very careful how you go about that. I've worked with Oscar before. We did a bit of a daily dial on a deal that I had come up some time ago. We did a little bit of content, but I thought, why don't we just do a little piece of content now where we can go over something where I've got an example of a pitch deck that I put together, which is based on the pitch deck that Oscar put together for us probably about 9 months or a year ago now. And it's just an example of a deal that I'm doing in Florida. I am looking for a lender on there. I'm not asking Oscar for money, but I'm just kind of going through what it is that I'm looking for and why, and just get Oscar's feedback and have Oscar ask me some questions that you may be expected to have to answer, or at least be prepared to answer if you're in the same position. I see a lot of Facebook posts, which is, oh, I've got a deal, I need private money. That's not really helpful. Do you need $10? Do you need $100,000? Where is the deal? Is it you buying a pair of shoes? Are you buying a mobile home? What year is the mobile home? There's so many questions that can be answered and you should be prepared for. So, Oscar, what would you like to say on your a little background for the people that don't yet know you, and just sort of give a little bit of advice or foundation of what we're going to really talk about looking at the pitch deck.
Sure, sure. So my name is Oscar. I'm from Chicago. I've been investing in real estate since 2016. Uh, I've pretty much started. I used to own a restaurant, so when I get into real estate, my goal was to just buy and hold, right, for long term.
Yeah,
But as I get into real estate, I see a lot of potential to not only buy and hold, but to flip, to wholesale. And I also, at that point, I used to work for a tech company, and I resigned to open the restaurant. So what happened was I had a bunch of money in my 401k, right? And so after knowing real estate and how hard money works, I came to realize that I could use or make my money work harder in my 401k instead of just putting it into mutual funds, stock, and whatnot.
yeah,
Right? So I also became a lender, right? And it's perfect for my 401k because I can't touch the money anyway.
yeah,
Right? So instead of having a roll it over to a mutual fund which I did, which we had a financial manager um, ran our basically retirement fund, and I saw what I get, which is, I think it's a measly like 4 or 5% at that point,
yeah,
and I think we have like $250,000, right?
right,
Almost from my time in Motorola, because I
yeah,
maximized my 401k, and they were giving matching contribution and whatnot, right?
yeah,
So I saved a lot. And so when I quit Motorola, I had a good sum of money, right? So, and I can't touch it until I
yeah,
retire anyway, right? So that's what I did. And I also did some strategy where we did some loan swap and all those things. So it just kind of catapult my real estate investing to a higher level in a short amount of period of time, right?
yeah,
So yeah. So that's my background. And nowadays, I'm still in Chicagoland. I'm also building in Southwest Florida. Yeah, but I do everything. Most things. I stay with the residential. But I do flips, I do rentals, I do new construction, or doing it at this moment. I do some lending when the money is available. I'm not 100% a hard money lender, but when I find the same a project, and the borrower has piqued my interest and able to give me a good amount of return, and for me, it's mostly also the values that they give. It's not just the interest, because I can make more money in my current operation. I just want to make sure I don't lose money in my 401k. And
Yeah.
nowadays I actually use my 401k to help people, um especially new people that I can trust their projects with, but then they can give values back to me. I'll
Yeah.
give an example. Right, when I first start using my 401k money, right, I needed a loan also. And because I am new, when you're new, the hard money is going to charge you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Interest points and 12%, whatnot. Everything that they can charge you, they'll charge you because you're new, right? So instead of doing that, I came up with a strategy, and nowadays people call it loan swap. But I found another investor that has similar 401k with me, and we basically I lent money to him on a real estate project, and he lent his 401k money to me, right? And we charge similar interest, different amount, but
Yeah.
it's totally legal, and it's all backed with paperwork, backed with security,
Yeah.
mortgage, and everything, right? And we just did that, and we found another investors. Now we did a three-way, you
Yeah.
know. So now it's like a triangle, like A to B, B to C, and C to A,
Yeah.
right? And we just keep doing it. We just built our rental portfolio real quick, and
Yeah.
that we just return it, borrow it again, return it, borrow it again, similar interests, right?
Yeah.
And now, after a while, they we all kind of have different priorities and everything. One retired, and now he can use his retirement money. I'm still, still in the middle. I still have about, I don't know, 20 years left, before I can touch it. So now, I'm looking for people that can help me in other ways more than just giving me interest, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's
Yeah.
okay, right? As long as you give me a good enough interest, I'm okay. But for
Sure.
example, if I were to lend to Tristan, right? What I say is to Tristan, hey, Tristan, like, this is, this interest here, it doesn't make me rich. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make me
Yeah.
rich. It's just enough for me just so I can see a growth in my portfolio in my 401k. But what
Yeah.
I want is I want to be able to call you, Tristan, and I want to be able to say, hey, Tristan, I need your help because I don't know what to do with this. Can you help me with this? And you'll be like, Tristan, be like, okay, well, I'll do my best to help you, and you actually
Mm.
help me in something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, for
Absolutely.
example, when I started Sub Two, I gave I lent my money to someone, and I was able to ask him about all about Sub Two, right? Like, how, give me your paperwork, give me your give me how you did it and everything, right? And that's, to me, is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the
Absolutely.
interest. and
Yeah.
and that's a lot of people who has 401k and everything. Really, if you understand what they need, right,
Mm.
it's not about the interest.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
people with the reptile lending, that will only
Yeah.
ask for interest, and that's fine. But you'll
Yeah.
find a lot of people that needs help, that has money more than just the interest. They don't
Yeah.
need, as long as they have good enough interest,
Yeah.
8, 9, 10%,
Yeah.
and a secure position, but you were able to help him with their journey in real estate, for
Yeah.
example, or even
Absolutely.
understanding, like, how do I get a property off market, or how do I, become a landlord, or whatever that they need,
Yeah. Yeah. For
right?
sure.
So,
And for those new people that are asking why would they lend each other money, there are certain rules around retirement funds, and they vary on different types. You can't use that money for your own projects. You can only lend it to somebody else's project, which is why that reciprocity comes around by Oscar's friend lending to him lending to his friend, and they're investing in each other's deals and getting a fair return on each other's investment, but allowing each other to grow at that same way.
yep. Hmm. and it's all done with paperwork, right? It's not
Yeah.
just like, hey, I'm going to transfer 100,000, and you just, it's all this. There's a promissory note, there's a deed of
Yeah.
trust, there's even, I even do personal guarantee, right? And then a promise that it's not for personal reason, it's for I mean, there's a bunch of paperwork that we
Yeah.
sign to make it
Yeah.
legal.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect. Well, that's fantastic. So let's take a quick look at this opportunity I've come across. This a little bit of background to this. I bought one property seller finance from this seller already.
hmm
Um, I, in my earlier part of my career, just used my own cash as the down payment. Um, Again, probably a self-limiting belief earlier on in my career, just to use my own money and just deploy it. But now, I see the benefits of scale by not using your own money.
hmm
Um, so what we're looking at is a second property. The first one was a duplex. This one's a quadplex, and it's under contract. We're going to close in about 3 weeks,
okay.
and I'm just going to share a breakdown of the deal. Let me set the slideshow going just so we can see it from full size here. So can you see that
Yep.
okay?
Yep. It's perfect.
Perfect. So I'm hoping that this Zoom thing is showing. So, oh man, it's giving me subtitles for the what I'm saying. So let me turn that off because we don't need that. So basically, this is a little overview of the property. So you recognize the style of this, Oscar. It's just for some reason PowerPoint was showing me these different options for styles,
hmm
and that was kind of how it offered. So I just kind of switched
Yeah.
it up, which is brilliant. So picture of the front of the property. We're gaining access tomorrow to
Okay.
the property to get photos. So we'll get inside. It's a fourplex, two two ones, 131, and a 1-1. So my acquisition company, or my holding company here is Gatorville Gardens, not holding, but the company I've called it Gatorville Gardens,
hmm
which I thought was a little humorous, being
hmm
Florida. And I've given a little profile of myself. Real
Yep.
estate investor since 2019, full time since 2020, private money lender since 2021. Own and manage 4 properties of 5 doors, wholesale more than 10 properties. I can up that number now. Flip more than 12 properties. Currently have under one under contract. We've got 5 active right now here in Arizona. So
Okay.
it's important to introduce yourself and your credibility or lack of credibility. And it's not to say that a lack of credibility is a terrible thing. It's just being transparent with the person that you're asking to help you on your project, and just being very clear on the fact that I don't have a lot of experience, or I have some experience, or I have a lot of experience. That'll be very telling for that person as well, so they can pinpoint the questions and get an idea of what level you are, and maybe they're of the opinion they're very experienced and they're willing to help you. Oscar, for example, it just gave a great example. It's if you can bring more to the table than just interest. Um, you know, I think I was looking at something the other day where I was thinking about all of the books that these people write in business. Along the way, they're more they're more methodology books as people grow. Um, so Ed Milet, I think wrote a couple of books on the business, but then later in life he's writing more books on biographical type things, and the concepts behind what he's noticed over his career. So it's more historically looking at his life from a bigger perspective, or whoever these people are. Richard Branson, for example, they're writing this is what happened and this is why these things happened, rather than this is how infinite banking work and this is how different particular things work. They look back, so this gives them a little profile of you at what level they're at. And some people that may be lending money used to be investors like us, and they're happy to be able to hold your hand and bring you along, and have joy in seeing somebody else grow, and that's a pleasure for them.
hmm
Is there anything else that I might want to put on here, Oscar?
Well, I think this is good already. Like I said, you don't want to overcomplicate it anyway. I think this is perfect because you are able to break it down. You're also a private money lender, so that also gives you sort of credibility that you understand the risk in lending,
Yeah.
right? Real estate investor, and you wholesale, and I mean that's fine. But the thing that we talked about is like there's a lot of people that will say, well, I don't have all this, what do I say, right? And that's where the power of association comes in, right?
Yeah.
You can say, I belong to sub 2, for example, right?
Yeah.
And in sub 2 is a environment when you can get resources. And for example, um if you don't have any experience at all, you can say, and for example, if I'm flipping in Arizona, right, and I don't have experience, I would say, I'm partnering with Tristan, and I'm gonna, pay him something, or for his time or whatever his expertise, to help me, so this flip is successful in Phoenix, for example,
Yeah.
right? You being boots on the ground and you being resourceful, and now you can say, and Tristan has 5 active projects now in Arizona. So by association, I'm hiring someone who is safe and professional and experienced. So the risk of this project going wrong becomes really, really, really significantly less,
Yeah.
right? Like for example, Florida, right? If you're presenting it to me, right, this is all good. I don't have problems with this. But my first question would be, well, Tristan, you're in Arizona, right? Um, I know what it takes to flip a property. So how do you expect to get this done smoothly? That would be my question, because I
Yeah.
like, I like this project to be run,
Locally.
smoothly, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
know there's going to be some snack going on, there's going to be like some, hiccups and everything. I mean, that's fine, but how do you handle this, right? When there's a hiccup, is there a guy that is over there, or do you have to fly
Yeah.
in there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's
And,
that's what
that's
I
a
would
great
ask.
point.
Yeah.
I've failed my partner in this business that I haven't quite brought into the LLC yet, but I will be because of this project. I've got Nicole on the ground over there. She's going to be joining my LLC, and
Exactly
I've
right.
failed her in my pitch here by not including her experience in here. I'm a
Exactly.
real estate investor based in Arizona. My partner is a real estate investor based in Ocala,
Hmm.
who is going to be managing the property. So that's fantastic.
Correct. Right. So, and that would say, oh, okay, well, he has someone local.
Yeah,
In a sense, like for example, for me, I'm building in Florida, right? And
yeah,
so my lender in that is somewhere not in Florida, that doesn't know anything about Florida, but trust me, it's like, well, how are you going to manage this? Well, for me, I'm committed right now to go to Florida every month,
yeah,
right? And in addition to that, I have a general contractor that I'm hiring full time and project manager. So I include them as part of my team,
yeah,
right? So when I present something, um, I'm giving security that
yeah,
I have a team,
yeah.
right? So
So that's perfect. It's the team profile.
yep, and that would be just not just you, like you're.
Yeah,
I think you can occupy the first 3 bullets, but the rest of the bullets can be your team,
yeah,
and that's really very important for virtual anything, right? If anything's local, then you can occupy the whole thing. That's fine. But if it's virtual and they know you're not there, that's you gotta add that.
So I'll basically add in the number of doors that she has as well, which are under her management and our
Um,
management collectively.
yeah, you don't necessarily need to, but as long as you can say, she's local, and she's if she's a realtor, you can say she's a realtor. If she has done flips, you can say she has also done flips. That's pretty good. I mean, that's already enough. Because the
Yeah,
main guy is still you. I think you're still like the man in charge. It's just that we want to know, if something goes wrong, who can you rely on over there, right?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. So.
So I'll leave it in this format because then it'll be easier. So we've got property description. This is a breakdown of the asset that I'm
Mhm.
asking to borrow against. So this is a
Okay.
breakdown. Um, it's a quadplex, 1982 build, number of bedrooms. I need to add in that we have two two ones, one 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 one,
Hmm.
because I'm also waiting for the rent roll information as well, so I can share that as well.
Sure.
And one three one. I'll forward this in a better format because that's not a
Sure.
terribly great way,
Yeah.
but just to outline that.
And
So
the important thing, Tristan, is also knowing the background of your lender, right? I
Yeah.
mean, your target lender needs, like, for me, I'm okay with this. Like, I know how to read this, right? But
Yeah.
someone who's not in the business, which is really the perfect lender, is someone who trusts you but not really in the business, right? Because they'll be more flexible with your terms and everything, right? As long
Yeah.
as it's relationship based, right? This is the
Yeah.
real authentic private money lender, right?
Absolutely.
I'm more like a professional money lender. That's what I say,
Yeah.
right? We're
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
professional money
Absolutely.
lender because we know what we're talking about, and we know that we want to maximize our profit. Otherwise, we know how to make more money on our money, right?
Yeah.
But for
Yeah.
a
Absolutely.
real private money lender, they barely got, remember I told you in the beginning, I'm only getting 4 or 5% of my on my 401k. So now they should be happy with 8 9%. While if
Yeah.
I'm lending to you, I have a certain standard, even though um they're not a set standard, but usually I start with, like, say, 10% to 12%, right?
Yeah.
Because that's just because I know I can make that money work harder somewhere else easily, right? I have
Yeah.
other options.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. But for a
Yeah.
lot of people, 4% against 8% easy, they would go with 8% all day, right? As long as
Absolutely.
they understand what they're getting into,
For
right? And
sure.
and for people who doesn't know, you have to understand. You have to tell them what is a quadplex, right?
Yeah.
A quadplex, maybe instead of saying quadplex, is you can say it's a 4 unit building, for
Yeah.
example, right? And again, it depends. If you presenting to me, I know what quadplex is, right? You can say 4 unit residential. That's great. Total of 8 baht, right? Or 4 baht. That's fine too, right?
Yeah.
So and you might want to say 2 baht slash 1 baht, 1 baht slash 1 baht, 3 baht slash 1 baht, something like that, right? And again, this is repetitive, but to a lot of people that doesn't, that does that hasn't seen this a lot like us, they'll be, oh, okay, well, I understand, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. All unit renovation 5 year, that's fine. In unit laundry, people understand that. All air conditioned units, that's fine. Gas heating is actually rare, right? Because a lot of Florida, they're all electric. So
Yeah.
that being a gas heating, that's actually
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah. It's unusual for sure.
Yeah. So near major, yeah. So that's all good.
Yeah. So we got a bit of renovation details. We've not got a huge amount because the current owner
Sure.
did a renovation on all of the units in the last few
Okay.
years. So we've just got a small bit of budget for interior paint, maybe a bit of
Sure.
outside cleanup, and some reserves as well.
Okay.
Just so we got something to set aside, in the reserve account, which will
Okay.
just be there. Which I think a
Okay.
lender would like to know that you're not
So
just
yeah. So for this one, again, this is being a professional lender. I would like to know
sure.
if this is per unit or all the units,
Okay.
right? I mean, landscaping 300. I like to know if that's like per unit or is that like everything, total, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect. So next one, I've got the breakdown of the numbers. I'm
Okay.
not sure if you can see that clearly enough, but
Yeah, it's a little bit small over here.
let
So
me
if you
see.
remember my original one, I usually just do like a basic, really, really basic tab,
Got it.
I wouldn't even bother showing this
Okay.
unless it's being asked for, to be
Got it.
honest, because
Okay.
I, like, at this point, I trust you. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't really need to see the details, but I do need to see, like what you had, like, there, the renovation details. That's what I need to see, and I need to
Yeah.
see maybe like one more page of that, having it more detailed,
Got it.
and not this type of detail, but
Yeah.
you said it's a seller finance, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then you're flipping this, or are you keeping this as a rental?
I'm keeping this and holding it.
Okay, so if you're keeping it and holding it, and again, you might have this at the end, but
Yeah.
for me, the first thing I want to know is, okay, is the security that you're giving me, uh, number one, is what is the value, right? that
Yeah.
that would be number one that I want to know, right? If for example, and it's not even about the loan to value thing, like for example, if you're asking, how much are you asking right now?
Yeah.
Like, how much are you asking?
Oh, so I'm asking for $45,000.
Oh, okay. So you're just asking for 45,000.
Yeah.
So basically, okay. So this number right here, I rather see this number than that spreadsheet. To be honest,
Perfect. Okay.
right? This number makes more sense to me because it's just more, less clutter, right?
Yeah.
But I would still like, if you can say, hey, if you want to see, if you're a numbers guy, if you're like a spreadsheet geek, I have a
Yeah.
spreadsheet for you to see it if you want, but this is for
Perfect.
you to just see. This is my purchase price. Your down payment is 33,750, closing costs, rehab costs, total entry cost 45,000. It's seller finance, and I'm requesting 45,000. That's basically it, right?
Yeah.
And it all makes
Basically,
sense.
yeah.
See that how I can get that based on like just looking at it for five seconds, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a very, very important page. Like that
Yeah.
that one is, you have to make sure this page is very, very clear. You're asking, and you know um and let me just read it one more time, right? So
So
you're
let me
requesting it.
just, there we go.
um mhm. Yeah, so 45,000. Proposed loan interest is 12% annualized. Loan terms, so basically it's 450 a month. You're asking for 3 years. Um, Monthly, quarterly, annual payments by best. Okay, yeah, so that's good. So it's clear to me that you're asking for a 3-year loan, 12% interest only per year, basically,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Correct.
so that's great. Yeah, and this is, to me, when I see that, and I see that, can you go back one more time?
Sure. Sorry.
Yeah, and you can see the important thing, and when you present this, right? Well, let's do this. Instead of me talking, let me have you talk and explain
Okay.
this to me, and then I can
Sure.
give you feedback from this.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for your time, Oscar. Obviously, we've been through the other information. We're paying 375 for the property. We've negotiated a 9% down payment, which you'll agree is a low down payment. The seller was originally looking for 6% interest with a 5-year balloon. We're actually paying him $20,000 more than the asking price. He was actually had a cash offer at 350 from one of the local housing authorities, but they were going to take a very long time to go through the process. He was going to get cash, but he'd much rather sell and make an interest rate. So we negotiated 4.5% interest rate with a 30-year amortization with a 15-year balloon, which suited the needs that he had. The monthly principal and interest payment is 1780, and I'd have to refer back to the rental structure page for the income, but we're
Mhm.
around 3250, I think, was the gross income. We're putting 15% away for vacancy and repairs, so we're building up quite a solid war chest. The property's been renovated fully by the owner in the last 2 to 3 years, so there's no major work to do. He's very good at keeping on top of preventative maintenance, as I can refer to my already owned property that I bought from him 6 months ago. That's been in very good condition, looked after well, and we're getting inspection tomorrow. We'll get some pictures of the inside, but we're looking for 100% of the entry fee. Just allows us to scale instead of us putting our own cash into these things. Just allows us to buy more properties. Sounds like he's going to be looking to sell a few more in the next few months and years as he works down through his portfolio. And we're offering what we feel is a fair rate of 12% annualized, which ends up just being a nice easy figure of 450 a month for 3 years. Um, Different lenders I've worked with have wanted monthly payments, quarterly, sometimes annual. So whatever that structure would look like for you, as far as payments, we can certainly accommodate.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, you know how to say it, and I think it's pretty straightforward. You know, um, just a couple of things. I'm gonna ask you questions now, right?
Great.
Number one is, I know the purchase price 375, but what is really the ARV of this? Are you getting this at ARV, or is there some equity that in the future? Because my question is, you have a 15-year balloon, which is a long time, which is great,
Yeah.
right? So you have 15 years for this property to appreciate, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm just curious, in 3 years, right? For example, how would you be able to get my money or return my money?
In 3 years. Yeah, we will be looking either to restructure the second position debt, but we're actually looking at underwriting with one of the units being a nurse rental right now and possibly more in the future. One of the leases is coming up in a couple of months, and we're just looking at the possibility of making one of that unit into a nurse rental. We're not too far from one of the hospitals, and I know there's a demand in the area for short to mid-term rentals. We don't feel it's an Airbnb site, and
Hmm.
I do like Airbnbs in certain areas, but there is a level of volatility involved, and
Hmm.
this isn't one of those areas that I'd feel comfortable doing a an Airbnb type situation. But for a nurse, or a medical service professional, I think this would be a great place for them to be able to stay for 2 to 3 months at a time. We've got contacts at the health facilities in the area, and we know there's interest, and it would certainly increase the income. Therefore, we would be in a position to provide a payoff at the 3 year mark, and maybe even sooner if that was desirable. But obviously, we'd love to leverage the money that
Okay.
you may lend us for the longest period of time to allow us to then maybe build out one or two of the other units in the same way, and increase the revenue, more so.
Okay. And another thing I notice is that, and again, you probably have it on the other slides, but what I would add here is that, your ability to make some money, after paying that 450, for example,
Yeah,
right? So obviously you have expenses, and you just put down your expenses there, monthly P&I. You're
yeah,
missing the tax and insurance.
absolutely.
So basically PITI, and you said 15% for, like whatever the war chest that you're getting, right?
Yeah,
And plus you have a payment to me, which is the 450. So I would like it to be a win-win, right? So I like to know that you're actually, after the 15% and after all the war chest, whatever that you have, I like to see that you're actually making some money, right?
yeah,
So that's something that I would like to see, because to me that's security for me, right? You making money is the security for me, right? Because if you're not making any money, then, it's not that secure. This investment is not that secure,
right.
right? Because anything
Absolutely.
happen, then we're all screwed. That's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can put the detail in there in a
Right.
slightly
And you
different
can make it
format,
very
but
simple. You can
yeah,
say, you can really say expenses, which is the PITI, 15% war chest, and, whatever it is. And you can say income is this. So you know, and so our net income after paying you is that five
yeah,
519, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, which is great. Now I know you're making money too.
Yeah,
And that's very important to me as a lender, because, I like to see my borrower makes money.
yeah,
That's, to me, that's more security than just like, oh no, I'm not going to make any money because I have to pay you. Well, Murphy laws, right? Something happens. Something happens, and now you don't have any money, to even, deal with the situation or pay me back. So that's less
yeah.
security for me. So,
Perfect.
and this is all
Perfect.
for all lenders too, right? I mean, all lenders should want the best for their borrower.
Absolutely.
That's what makes it a win-win. You can't just say, oh, I want 15%. I mean, well, it doesn't work. If you want
Yeah,
15%, then, Tristan's not going to make any money, and that's not going to work.
absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So,
I might
uh
put a little table in there. I'm not sure, but just to
yeah,
make it
and you can make it a
format
little
for
bit
that.
fancy with tables or whatnot, but, to me, if I can see, gross expense, basically it's basic, math, right?
Yeah,
Gross income minus expenses equals net income. That's all I need to see.
yeah,
I need to see you making money. and that's it. And after paying me, right?
Yeah.
Regardless if you pay me annually, monthly, quarterly, and you might be able to say, you know, ideally in a ideal situation, I would like to make an annual payment for the first year, so we can definitely want to make sure that we can take care of all the unknowns, expenses, or whatnot that's
Yeah.
happening as we build our war chest. And then on the second year, if you feel like you need monthly, then we can do monthly.
Perfect.
That will kind of train the lender to be able to say, okay, well, yearly is fine. And when they receive that money annually, especially for me, I don't really care um if I get it monthly or annually, because I can't use the money anyway.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different than some lender cares, because some lender, it's all about trust issues, right? They'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, why don't we do monthly for the first 6 months, and then after that, I'm okay with the last 6 months being annual, and after that everything's annual. So this is like
Perfect.
a case to case basis. I mean, for me,
Fantastic.
because
Yeah.
I've done a lot of lending, and I know this is, after I see that net income, I'm okay with saying that, you know what, Tristan, I'm okay with like annual payment. I don't really care.
Yeah.
So
Fabulous.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's, so this is good. I mean, I think this is a good deal. If you can make like 519,
Yeah.
obviously, that's, as an investor, that's a little bit on the low side, but
It is.
you have a seller finance, which is great. And we know, it's a 15-year balloon, which in 15 years this property will appreciate. So you can technically get a cash out refinance along the way, even
Yeah.
even when, if your purchase price is basically 400 something, right, with the total entry cost and everything. As when you get we can when the property is valued at 600,000, you can definitely do a cash out, and you
Yeah.
basically, pay off everyone,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely. And,
yeah.
and of course, I threw in the map as well, just so that
Right, the
people
map is
get an
very important,
example.
because I like to see the map, especially if I don't know the area, right? If you're saying me like, hey, Oscar, I'm investing in Chicago, and you just show me a map, I'll know if it's good area or not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
and I only know Ocala, and from a map. And you know um you know and maybe another thing that you can add is, what type of tenants is in this area, right? Are they like young professionals? Are
I
they like
see. Yeah.
working
Okay.
families? Are they, kind of like a little bit of demographics,
Got it.
what type of
Perfect.
tenant that you're that's currently right now, and what currently tenants that is perfect for this case, when you get a higher market rent, right? um,
Fantastic. Yeah.
and you already told some of them, like nurses and everything, right? I
Yeah.
think that needs to be put in there,
Yeah.
the type of tenants, because that's also for a longer um investment, 3
Yeah.
years. I need to make sure that the asset is well kept with the right tenant, right? So,
Yeah.
if it's a
Absolutely.
short term, I don't really care for a flip. We know the exit strategy, we're going to sell it anyway, right? So
Yeah.
I don't really care about who's buying it, as long as they're qualified. For a
Yeah.
1 year or more, I like to know if the area is a decent area. It doesn't need to be A areas, because I know a lot of rentals, they cannot be in an A area. It doesn't make sense. It needs to
Yeah.
be in the C plus areas, right? With the certain types of tenants, and we can say, the tenants are young professional. In this case, your nurses. If it's
Yeah.
nurses, then show where the hospitals are, for example.
Yeah. I was just thinking that actually, because I
Right,
think it's just outside of the realm of the map that I chose.
right,
And I think what I might do is maybe do a smaller map of here,
correct.
slightly larger one than this, and then kind of where it is in Florida as well.
Right. Yep. Especially if you know already your target client, like your target rental or tenant, then
Yeah.
it's perfect to show it. Again,
Yeah.
all this is not just, there's a purpose in everything that we put in here,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So that it's not just, oh, it's a map, right?
Yeah.
People just look at it and say, oh, it's a map. No, the map needs to show something,
Yeah.
right? Map needs, if you're targeting hourly wage worker, for example, right? Then you're good, because I can see Target, I can see Lowe's, I can see Walmart, and
Yeah.
there's like three on this and that area on the other side of
Yeah.
the highway, and there's not a Walmart right there on the upper right, right? So definitely, like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you definitely got your target market there, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fabulous. Well, I appreciate you, Oscar. Thank you so much for taking the time to look at that with me.
yeah, for sure. Hmm.
Hopefully, that can bring some people some value and borrowers and lenders potential of each, and really help them get more information. And I very much appreciate your time at dinner. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
How's
Yeah.
little lady boss? Is she well?
Yeah, she's busy. She's busy with high school now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's still trying to get her more involved in real estate. She's managing my properties now. Sending
Fabulous. Yeah.
reminder to tenants and like, hey, why haven't you paid, and all those stuff.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
I get her to do all this stuff.
Excellent. Excellent.
So
Well, good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Oscar, and I do look forward to seeing you again very soon.
for sure.
But yeah, it's always great to catch
Yeah,
up. And
yeah, I think that investment is a good one, and I think you'll definitely get someone in that. Even on an annual basis, you can always find another investor.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
you're and just another one thing is, if you do have a real private money lender, I would
yeah.
suggest giving less interest, starting with less interest first, right?
Got it. Okay.
I would say at this point, 8% used to work last year, but I think with inflation and everything,
Yeah,
9 to 10% is more general. Or even you can say 9%, and if you're able to do it annually, we'll kick 1% at the end.
perfect. Okay.
Every year, right? Then so give me 8% annual. Plus, I'll provide values to you. You'll have my phone number. I promise to
Yeah,
get back to you in 24 hours. Because now I have fiduciary duty to you because you're my
yeah,
lender, right? I always say that. For all my
yeah,
lenders, you have access to me.
yeah,
Any questions you can ask me,
yeah.
right? Because I'm responsible for your money. I'm your
Absolutely,
financial manager. So feel free to call me, email me for anything you need, right? That's the best value anyone can give. Time,
for sure.
right?
Absolutely, yeah,
1% doesn't mean anything to a lot of people, to be honest.
yeah,
So some people can say, okay, well, 8% and 1% kickback at the end, and
yeah,
that will make it annual, and you save money on monthly. Now you have more money at the end,
yeah.
annual, to do that, right? So everyone's still wins.
Absolutely,
So
yeah. Well, brilliant. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Oscar. I'm just
yeah,
going to click end on here.